We have a major Giannis trade update. Just when we all thought he was going to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks, an NBA insider has confirmed that Giannis Antetokounmpo is still unsure about his future in Milwaukee, and a trade could still be on the table for the Bucks superstar. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new content. And now, let's get started. Huge Giannis trade update. I honestly didn't think I would be talking about this today. I thought that as soon as the Knicks re-signed Mikal Bridges, all of these Giannis trade reports, Giannis joining the Knicks, or Giannis joining any other NBA team for that matter, I thought all of these reports would be put to rest, at least for this offseason. But ESPN's Shams Charania is determined to keep these Giannis trade talks alive. And recently, he reported the following about Giannis and his future in Milwaukee. Shout out to Bleacher Report and ESPN Shams Charania for giving us this following information. Here's an exact quote from Shams regarding Giannis and his future with the Milwaukee Bucks. According to Shams, we are standing here. It's August 4th. He reported this yesterday, obviously. Sources tell me there's still nothing set in stone about whether Giannis will stay in Milwaukee or whether he'll be leaving. And so he's going to continue to evaluate his future. I reported it in mid-May that he's still evaluating whether his best fit is in Milwaukee or is it elsewhere. And that process is continuing. There's been some very real conversations over the past week or so. The constant question that Giannis has, though, is can I win a championship with this roster in Milwaukee? Is this roster going to be the one for this upcoming year and 2026, 2027? He wants to win a second championship. So he's asking that question over and over again. There are multiple teams waiting in the wings, potentially, if Giannis this offseason still makes that decision. This is a very tough decision for him. This is 12 years he's spent there. There's a lot of equity there. He won a championship there. This type of move isn't going to be an easy move because this is a Milwaukee Bucks organization that went out and stretched and waived Damian Lillard, $113 million. They did that because they wanted to show Giannis, we're doing everything in our power to keep you here. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's the ultimate decider whether he feels this roster is good enough or not. And I know you think after all of that, Shams would be done, right? Unfortunately, he's not. After he said that, he followed that up by giving us this information as well about Giannis. Shout out to NBA Central on the app X for giving us this following information. Shams says that Giannis is questioning if he can win a title with the Bucks' current roster after they signed Miles Turner and waived Damian Lillard. And it's clear to mention here, Shams mentions these two names, Miles Turner and Damian Lillard. And it's no surprise that the last time we spoke about Giannis, he was upset about this situation. Turner in and Lillard out. And that's why it's important to mention here. So clearly, Shams Charania believes that Giannis's future in Milwaukee is still not determined, and potentially he could still be traded this offseason. Now, do I believe Shams and his sources? I absolutely do. Shams, as an NBA insider, he is one of the best to do it in the NBA right now. So if Shams is saying it, I absolutely believe it. However, I also know after covering this league for so many years, just because one source says this doesn't mean that another source isn't saying something else. And in the league, there are multiple sources talking about Giannis. While some sources speaking to Shams clearly indicate that Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't know what he wants to do with his future. Other sources, they indicate that Giannis absolutely knows what he wants to do moving forward. and he wants to stay with Milwaukee. So as we just covered, ESPN's Shams Charania reported that Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is still unsure of his future with the Milwaukee Bucks and whether he's going to stay with Milwaukee or request a trade. Then we heard from NBA insider Evan Cedarty. He writes for Forbes, and recently he posted the following in a pushback to Shams' report. And according to him, he stated the following: even though this was 3 weeks ago, I think it still matters. According to him, Bucks president Peter Feigin 3 weeks ago on Giannis Antetokounmpo. We kind of laughed internally. Giannis loves Milwaukee. Milwaukee loves Giannis. We're in a good place. It's business as usual. Milwaukee has no worries about Giannis leaving, even though Shams keeps saying otherwise. So clearly, we have the Bucks president himself clearly stating that Giannis does not want to leave Milwaukee. He loves Milwaukee, and he's going to stay in Milwaukee. And everybody internally with Milwaukee is laughing at all of these reports. Now, maybe you don't believe that report. Maybe it's too old. 3 weeks ago, Troy, Shams just gave you a report that came out yesterday. We need something more recent. Well, ask and you shall receive, because I have you covered on that front as well. Shout out to NBA Central on the app X for giving us this recent report on what Giannis said to a fan that recently screamed the following to him. According to this post, Giannis said he shortened his autograph to play 15 to 20 years. And when a fan yelled, "All in Milwaukee," he smiled and he said, "All in Milwaukee, baby." So clearly, even here, he's indicating in a recent interview that he's choosing Milwaukee, he wants to stay in Milwaukee, and he wants to play the rest of his years with the Milwaukee Bucks. So we have multiple reports here. We have reports indicating that Giannis isn't sure about his future in Milwaukee. That's coming from Shams. Then we have the Bucks president and Giannis himself basically indicating that Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee and he loves Milwaukee. So which reports do we believe? How about this? How about we go to Leon Rose? I understand there have been no recent reports about what Leon Rose said about Giannis, but that really doesn't matter because we know what Leon Rose recently did. Leon Rose and this Knicks front office recently gave Mikal Bridges a contract extension. And we all know one of the main reasons New York waited this long to extend Mikal Bridges was because for the entire offseason, they were waiting for Giannis Antetokounmpo to potentially request a trade out of Milwaukee. If Leon Rose re-extended Mikal Bridges, then that tells you everything you need to know. That tells you that a potential Giannis trade, at least for this offseason, is off the table because Mikal Bridges would have never re-signed with New York. New York would have never even given him that contract extension if Giannis was going to be available in the first place. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the great James L. Edwards of The Athletic, who broke down all of these following details about this situation. In a recent edition of his mailbag, James L. Edwards of The Athletic answered the following question. He was asked, did the Mikal extension have any connection or correlation with the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation in Milwaukee? And here was James L. Edwards' response to that question. According to him, it is my understanding that Leon Rose and company have been monitoring Giannis Antetokounmpo's situation in Milwaukee very closely, even before the offseason. Make sure everybody in the back understands that and hears that. Even before the offseason, the number one player New York was looking at was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Before anyone else was even available, Giannis was on their minds. Let's make sure we take note of that. Edwards continues here by stating, as for the Mikal Bridges extension, I don't think it's a coincidence that the New York Knicks waited this long into the summer to get this extension done. The Giannis situation has lingered and is continuing to somewhat linger. but people I've talked to are fairly confident that Giannis Antetokounmpo will start next season with Milwaukee. I also don't think it's a coincidence that the Knicks signed Bridges to an extension before August 6th. A player who signs an extension can't be traded for 6 months. If Bridges signed his extension on August 6th or later, he wouldn't be eligible to get moved until next summer, as 6 months from August 6th would take us past the expected February trade deadline. The fact that Bridges signed before then makes him eligible to be traded if the Knicks choose to do that before the deadline. But listen to this, because this is key here. I don't believe New York did this because it is without a doubt they're going to be trading Bridges. I believe Leon Rose and company did this to give themselves some flexibility in the event something like Giannis wanting out becomes a possibility. It's pretty clear to me, the Knicks knew they were not going to be able to trade for Giannis this offseason. He was not going to request a trade out of Milwaukee this offseason. But what about the trade deadline? What about next season or the next offseason? Would he be available then? If that's the case, the Knicks want to make sure they're able to still trade for him. And that's why New York extended Mikal Bridges to this contract before August 6th. Because now, if and when Giannis asked out of Milwaukee, request a trade out of Milwaukee, the Knicks will have some assets available to be able to trade for him. And if he's going to do that by the trade deadline, because the Knicks extended Bridges in this way, they will still have enough assets at the deadline to trade for Giannis if he wants to join New York and he's available at that time. And if you're listening to the odd makers over at FanDuel, it sounds like the Milwaukee Bucks are not even close to winning a championship, let alone winning the Eastern Conference itself. Shout out to channel sponsor FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. They gave us the following odds on the Milwaukee Bucks regular season win total for the 2025-2026 season. Their over for 42.5 wins is -130, and their under for 42.5 wins is -102. So clearly, they are not anticipating the Bucks to have a very strong season next year. And that's with Giannis on the roster. That's telling. 42 wins, even if they get around that number, what does that put them in the Eastern Conference? Maybe 7th or 8th? So they're a play-in team, and that brings me to the 2025-2026 NBA Eastern Conference winner odds. Because clearly here, you can see from top to bottom who the favorites are and what teams don't have a chance. And this is a 3-man race if I'm looking at it right now. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, and the Orlando Magic that are the favorites to win the East next season. The Cavs at +240, the New York Knicks at +270, and the Orlando Magic at +500. Everybody else after that is more of a long shot. Then you have the Milwaukee Bucks at +1,600. +1,600. Those are terrible odds. That means you should never bet for Milwaukee to win the Eastern Conference next season. And if that's their odds to win the East, you can only imagine what their odds are to win the actual championship. It is clear that Leon Rose made the right decision. I don't believe Giannis gets traded this offseason, but clearly from those odds from FanDuel, it sounds like the Milwaukee Bucks will struggle next season. And if they're struggling, there is a chance that Giannis at the deadline requests a trade out of Milwaukee. And if that happens, New York is perfectly set up to take full advantage of that situation. That's why I trust in Leon Rose and this Knicks front office, because every time you think to yourself, they don't know what they're doing, they made the wrong move, they re-signed Mikal Bridges way too early, way too soon. Other reports come out that prove to you why the Knicks are moving in this direction. They know something that we don't know, and that's why they're making these decisions. You can go against it, Or you can do what I'm doing. Praise it, appreciate it, and trust and believe in Leon Rose and this Knicks front office. We have never in my lifetime had a front office like this that were so good, so competent, making the right moves. Now that we have one, there is no way on this planet I'm going to question them or any of the moves or decisions they are going to make. If they made these moves, they're the right ones. Giannis, he is the prize that every team wants, but it's clear every team can want him, but only one team is going to get him. And for this next season, the team that's going to have Giannis on it will be the Milwaukee Bucks. But in the future, anything could happen. And it's clear the Knicks believe in the future. Giannis will be made available and he will request a trade out of Milwaukee. But what about you guys? What do you think about all of these reports about Giannis and his future in Milwaukee? Where Shams believes that Giannis is uncertain about his future, many other NBA insiders believe that Giannis will remain with the Milwaukee Bucks this offseason, but maybe in the future, he could seek a trade out of Milwaukee. Let me know which reports you believe and how you would like the Knicks to respond. Would you like them to trade for Giannis or keep the exact team that we have right now? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.